first of all, everybody that's here, thank you for being on. I want to introduce, Kim Beckham. So Kim Beckham, Brother Beckham is what I've called him my whole life. So first time I ever heard Kim Beckham speak, I was 11 years old, and I was at the Central Baptist Church in Tyler, Texas. And my family and I just moved there, and we visited this church for the very first time. And our first time at this church was his first Sunday speaking. And my parents loved him. We loved him. I grew up under his tutelage, coaching, and ministry, et cetera. And he's just been an ear for me throughout my career to give advice or direction or anytime I needed it. And but recently I saw, and the reason he's on here is I saw he's recently stepped down as pastor of his church, retired, turned it over to his son-in-law. And he's been he's opened a coaching business. He's been coaching part-time, and he's now coaching full-time. And so I asked him to send me a bio over for his coaching background, because I know how to introduce him as a person and as a pastor, but not really as a coach. And when he sent me this bio, I was, Brother Beckham, I didn't know you'd been doing all this. So this is all stuff that he was doing while pastoring a church. So I'm just going to read what he sent me here. So he's been leading people to success for over 45 years, has led organizations as small as 10 and as large as 1,000. He's a published author. He's currently working on his third book, due to be published this year. He's got a passion for developing leaders. He has a coaching and leadership training business as a John Maxwell certified coach, which many of us know John. He's also a sought after speaker at corporate events. He's entering the fourth year of offering his leadership training class called What I Know Works. That's the title of it. And we're going to take that class and basically modify it for our business for this. The class continues to grow in its fourth year due to the phenomenal results people are seeing in their lives. He's been happily married to his wife, Barbara, for 47 years. They have 2 lovely daughters, Jessica and Amanda, 2 fine sons-in-law, and 4 above average grandchildren. I didn't write that description. He sent that to me, but his grandchildren are above average. He'll help you think, help you dream, and teach you to believe in yourself and make you a more effective leader. So that's his bio. So Brother Beckham, I appreciate you being on here. And everybody knows that, you're going to give us some value here, and you're also going to talk about your class at the end and the opportunity to enroll in that. So I'll turn it over to you, and anything you want to talk about, we're all ears.
He needs to unmute too.
Oh yeah, you're muted too. Oh, I can unmute him maybe.
There we go. How's that?
There we go. Yep, you got it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. And I have to tell all your team that Eric's been one of my favorite people through the years. His brother just had a huge success and just has been named a Texas Ranger in our community. He's been the highway patrol for years. And so and then his brother Russell, as some of you know, is a professor of philosophy, Houston University. So those Hamadi boys have done all right for themselves. But Eric has always been one of my favorites because when he went to college, I don't know if you've told them this, Eric, but he went to college. He put himself through school selling Bibles and religious books door to door. And I used to do door to door work when I was a young man, and there is nothing more difficult, more challenging. And if you can succeed selling things door to door, you are a special individual. So I have high respect for salespeople, high respect for Eric, and I've loved watching his career and what he's done through the years. So thank you, Eric, for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for letting me talk to your team. And it's exciting. A little about myself that maybe not in there. Outside of my faith and my love for God, my second greatest passion, I guess I should say my family is probably second, but the third greatest passion I have is self-improvement. And I fell in love with self-improvement my first day in college. I was going to Bible college, went into the bookstore to pick up my books, and they had a little rack of books. They used to have those paperback books on a rack. And one of them was called Success Unlimited by Mac Douglas. I still have that book in my library, little blue and yellow book. And it was full of material like goal setting, networking, managing your time, controlling your thinking. And I just ate it up, fell in love with it. And it became my second passion. And since then, I've read everything from Napoleon Hill to Brian Tracy to Tony Robbins to Jack Canfield to anybody in that field, because I just love the idea of helping people think at a higher level. So I started with coaching. And of course, ministry was a passion for me. And then I thought, well, I'd like to help in executive coaching. And I developed my own personal coaching program called Personal Accountability Coaching. I had a friend of mine, I was talking to him about doing some DISC training. I'm a DISC certified. Some of you have taken DISC, and you know about DISC as a workplace personality testing. So I was certified in that, and I was telling him I was wanting to do that. And he said, well, that what we really need is someone to come into our business and coach us as a business, because all these other programs, you come in, you teach for few days, you go, and for about 6 months, everybody does good, and then they go back to the old way of doing things. So we need somebody to come in all the time and hold us accountable. So I developed this coaching program that says, basically starts with some question is, number one, what's the five most important things you need to do to succeed at your work? First of all, do you know what they are? You'd be surprised people don't know. Then secondly, if you do know what they are, thirdly, are you doing them consistently? And if not, would be helpful to have someone come alongside you and make sure you got them done. So I started coaching people with that, and they would come in and meet with me. We'd figure out what their needs are. Mostly it would fall under leadership skills or people skills. Then we'd develop a training program based on podcasts to listen to, books that I would assign them to read. And then every month they would make a commitment to me of what they would have done by the time they came back in to see me next month. And now it's been about 8 years later, and I've coached over 50 people, and bank executives, realtors, all kinds of different people, doctors, and a lot of salespeople. And then a few years ago, I decided to start a leadership training class. No, I want to try this. See if I just created a class, who would come. And first year, I had 5 people, and I wrote this material, and it's called What I Know Works. And it comes from the idea that many of you have probably dabbled in self-improvement. If you have, you probably realize that there's some bad stuff out there. There's a lot of fluff out there, some crazy ideas, some things that don't have merit. But there are some things that really work. And so I identified 8 or 9 things that I know they work because I've proven them in 45 years of leading people. And so I created this curriculum, and I started with 5 students. When we got done with the year, they liked it so much they wanted to keep going. So I had another year's class, and I started a second year class on top of it, then a third year class, and now we're going into the 5th year with training people. 80% of the people go through the class, continue on. The retention rate is that high. They find great value in it. We've had people completely transform their lives as we teach them about goals and how to set goals and how to achieve goals and how to work in a disciplined manner and transform their lives. We had a lady come in. She got all excited about this concept of visioneering, and her goal was she was going to get LASIK if she could sell a certain amount of real estate. And it was 30% more than she had ever sold. Well, after hearing the lecture on visioneering and goal setting, she started putting those principles into practice. Within 4 months, she had hit her goal. She got her LASIK. She doubled that goal, and she hit that goal within the year. Since then, she's gone on to do personal coaching. She's become a corporate speaker. She's become a leader in the Rotarians, and she has her own growing leadership. She's in realtor, starting her own brokerage. Just an amazing young lady, and she loves the class. And so I love teaching this material. I love helping people see something they haven't seen before. I just left a class. I just taught a class. Has 6 people in that class, and we were talking about how that we put limiting beliefs on our life, and we just say, well, I can't do this. Well, why can't you do this? Well, a lot of times we have a subconscious belief that this is a negative thing to do, and we have to confront those limiting beliefs and get them out of the way so we can really go to work and really apply ourselves 100%. And we had a fascinating discussion about that, and people looking at new ways of looking at it. So I love doing it. I love teaching people about it. But Eric and I talked about teams, and I have a lecture that is part of this. What we're offering to you is called Teams Are the Most Important Things You Can Build. And I have learned that. Eric knows me, but I had always been a pretty good preacher, and I was a fairly good pastor. I knew people. I knew how to love people, but I didn't know how to lead people. And it wasn't until about 17 years in that I took some leadership training classes. I learned how to build teams. And after I learned how to build teams, we saw our church explode and grow and nearly double in size. And since then, we've continued to be very successful. But let me tell you a quick team story, and then we'll move on to Q&A if you'd like. But I had a group of 10. I have 10 direct reports, and we got this team going pretty strong. And here's an example of what we did. We are part of a larger denomination, and we wanted to host a regional meeting that would have about 600-700 pastors come to our church. And so we wanted to do this. And so we went to the regional meeting, and I met with them, and I said, I'm interested in hosting this. And they said, well, that's good, because the one that's supposed to happen 9 months from now has canceled. Could you take that one? Well, I wanted it, but 9 months is not much time to put on a national meeting. You got to procure the speakers, you got to do all this organization, you got to put the whole thing together. So I said, well, let me talk to my team. And here's one of the concepts. I went back to my team and I said, hey, we've been talking about this. I want to do it, but I'm not going to commit to it if you don't want to do it. And do you think we can make this happen in 9 months? And we talked it over as a team. They bought in. See, that's a principle. When it's their goal, not my goal, they get excited. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. We took on that commitment. We started working. 9 months later, we hosted that meeting at our church. And of course, I know you don't have any way of verifying this, but I could give you references. But pastors from around the country came. They talked about it as being a life-changing meeting. We had hundreds of pastors here, but our team members developed and what they worked. And in each area, they had the responsibility. And okay, here's your responsibility for music. You got to provide it. Here's your responsibility for the graphics and the organization. Here's your responsibility for registration. Here's your, and on down the list. And every month, every week, we would have that as well as our other organizational things to report back on. And so everybody grew in that area. And I told them, I said, not only I'm going to have a success and our church is going to have a success, but when we hit this goal, when we bring these people in, you're going to be recognized as part of a leadership organization around the country. And they were. And since that time, 2 of my very best workers got stolen away, if you will, from me by larger churches for bigger opportunities. But that didn't break my heart. In fact, I was proud for them. If you love your people and if you care about them, you want them to do better. And sometimes that means they're going to move on to bigger opportunities. But that's okay, because if you're a team builder, you've got to accept the fact that you're always going to be in the business of building a team. You're always going to be in the business of developing new talent, finding new people, and helping them grow. But a team can do what an individual cannot do. And so building a team is the most important thing you can do. And I learned to do it. We've had great success with it. And just reading a thing by John Maxwell the other day, and he talked about in his life and his system of growth. He said his first system of growth was accidental. And then his second part of growth was personal growth. And then he went on down to program growth. But the final area of growth, the one that made him the most success, and many of you are aware how successful he is that team growth. And his statement was, when the team succeeds, they can do what I cannot do. Success is too big to achieve on your own. When you have people together, you build a great team. And that's the key to building a great, successful career. So I know you guys are trying to build teams. I can help you do that, and I can help you do it effectively.
That's great. Does anybody have any questions for Brother Beckham? Like even questions, not necessarily, it could be about content, but it could be about like just even your own team. Like, hey, I'm having an issue with this and this. Would your course help me with that?
Sure.
Hey, Brother Beckham, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, do you have like maybe an outline or just like a 30,000-foot view of how you would be able to kind of help us grow our teams and stuff?
Well, I don't know if you got the lessons that were included. Here's some of the topics that we would cover. And the way the class is designed is, I would like to give you some assigned reading, and I'll give you podcasts to listen to. And then also I'll teach a short lecture every month or every other week is the way we would do this. And so the first one is an overview of teams. There'd be a lesson on helping your team make good decisions. There's a lesson on setting expectations for your teams, dealing with the area of expectations. One on mental toughness, how to develop an unstoppable team, helping them to develop confidence, helping them manage stress, coaching, which is what I do. We all need to be coaching, how to coach your people to success. How do you help them move past? And negotiation, how to help them grow as they work with people. Because, some of the material, and Eric and I have talked about, the first level material for a lot of the people that you have coming in would be great for them. But for you guys and leading your teams, how do you help them get a bigger vision and keep going when the going is tough? How do you keep them from quitting? How do you keep them able to, I was watching one of your podcasts, somebody the other day, how do you get them to pick up that phone call and make that phone and make that draw when they're discouraged and when they're defeated? And that involves all these things we're talking about.
Todd, I just put the I pasted the bullets from the document I'd shared out earlier. It's in the chat.
Perfect. Thank
you. Bet. What else? Anybody else got any questions? Tim Belo, I know you got a question. You always got a question.
No, it's all about self-development, man. That's I always love talking about this and trying to get better each and every single day. But no, just kind of Todd took my question. Love to see a overview of what it is. But I know for me, I'd like to think I'm big upon self-development, but life can get in the way, and it's always good to have somebody help hold you accountable. So yeah, I'd be interested in taking a look to see what that's all about.
Well, Nick, I think part of it is one of the keys, as you know, is you got to care about the people. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And our teams, after you maximize your time management skills, and after you maximize your use of technology, the only way you can grow is through other people. So you got to have other people working on it. Somebody said, well, I'm not a people person. Well, you're going to have a hard time growing much success, because you've got to have other people working with you. Nobody succeeds greatly without a lot of people wanting them to. And in order for that to happen, you got to make people care. And the way you make people care about what you're trying to do is you care about them. And you have to care about these people. They can't be just cogs, tools that get you where you want to go. You gotta, hey, how's your kids doing? What is your goal? With your working with your team members, what are you trying to accomplish? What's your why? Why do you want to double your income this year? Why would you want to do it? Well, I've got a kid that's got a special need. And well, okay, good. Let's talk about that. And so the next time you are talking to him, you can say, well, how is Bobby's special need? How's the situation with that? How's that? And not as a technique, but as a genuine caring, that you really care about them. And when they know you really care about them, they're going to want to help you reach your goals, because you get more successful as they get more successful, and they'll know that you're really in it to try to help them.
So, Brother Beckham, I got so funny. One of my guys just texted me off to the side. He's like, "Where do I sign up?" So,
good, good.
So let's talk about that for a minute. So, typically, this is a 9-month course that he does on a kind of it's not a generic basis, but like he invites people from all kinds of different industries and they come together, and it's a 9-month in-person course. And what Kim is doing is he's putting it into a every other week. So instead of 9 months, it'll be 4.5 months, 5 months, et cetera, every other week. And I told him our people they want to move with speed and alacrity. So he's like, okay, well, we can do every other week, and we're going to tailor it obviously to our business. And so part of that is going to be before we launch the class, Brother Beckham and I will visit, and Todd, we might have you in on that too, just to kind of give him some benchmarks that we measure and things that it would be useful for him to understand before the class launches. So it'll be tailored to us. And the whole 9-month or 9-session class for those 5 months is going to be, I think $14.99 is what we talked about. And so, but Brother Beckham, what we didn't talk about is how do they actually sign up for it? So what process do you want them to go through? Oh, the other thing I would say too is we only have room for 16 people. just for his time and his, that's not an artificial, scarcity tactic or anything. It's literally, he's going to be mentoring and holding accountable and working with everyone in this class over that time period. That's the limit of what he feels comfortable being able to deliver good value for. So I just want to say that up front. So what process do you want them to go through to get enrolled?
Well, you've got my web address, which is kimbsassociates@gmail.com. And if they'll email me, I will invoice them a PayPal invoice for the class, and they can pay it, and that will get them signed up into the class. If they want more information, they can certainly email me, and I'll be glad to respond to that email, give them more information and talk about it. But that's probably how we'll do it. Just sign them up that way, and you can just pay by credit card over PayPal.
Okay. I put that email, kimbsassociates@gmail.com.
Correct.
I put that in our chat for everyone. And Brother Beck, I don't want to keep you longer if people don't have any questions, but at the same time, if people, now that you guys kind of know what the parameters are, I know I put that in the Slack thread before, but now that you're kind of, okay, you got a chance to meet Kim, get the overview, understand the payment and how we're going to enroll you. Does anyone else have any other questions for Brother Beckham before we let him get on with his day? Don't be shy.
Eric,
well, hey,
there we go.
I got a question. So what would you say in the sales arena, what is the number one challenge that you've seen people have? Because everybody's different. Everybody's got their own challenges. I know where my strengths and my weaknesses are, but overall, what would you say the biggest challenge most sales people have?
Well, I guess it's going to depend on the levels. Obviously an entry level versus someone who's been at it a long time. But the entry level, I think the greatest challenge the entry level people have is understanding that they're providing a service that benefits people. They're not taking something from people. And that gets them over the hump of feeling bad about calling. Oh, I don't want to get in your way. I don't want to be a burden to you. And I was sharing this just with a salesperson the other day. Yesterday, actually, she's in Better Business Bureau sales. And we were talking about that. And I said, well, let me tell you this story. She said, well, I just hate when I'm networking with people. I don't want them to feel like I'm doing this so I can get the sale, or I'm doing this so I can get the thing. And I said, well, the reality is in networking, if you're in sales, there's always going to be a component of what you're doing that is business related. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you're an insurance salesman. You're in the business. If you're helping a nonprofit and you're in this meeting and you're talking to people, you may genuinely care about that nonprofit. That your reason for being there is not primarily to sell insurance, but nonetheless, that is what you do. And people are going to know that's what you do. And so you can't feel negative about the fact that you're going to this program or going to this networking event or doing this, because your ultimate goal is to build your business. Of course, your ultimate goal is to build your business. You are a business person. And so I was telling them that, sorry, let me plug my phone in. It's wanting to quit on me. I said, let me tell you this story real quick. I said, I once had a very wealthy donor in my church. And I needed to approach him, and he had told me I could approach him if we had a need. So I went to him with a need, and I was sharing with him this need that I had as a pastor to get this quite a bit of money. And I said, and then I made this statement. I said, I feel bad about coming to you with this. He said, whoa, whoa, whoa. He said, you don't need to feel bad about that. He said, I've been blessed with these finances. I am a successful businessman. This is my responsibility for how I handle them. You did me a favor today by giving me a giving opportunity. It's my responsibility as an owner of these finances to decide, is this right for me or not right for me? But you have not done anything to hurt me. You helped me today because you gave me another opportunity for me to consider.
Wow.
And salespeople have to look at those sales as if, hey, I'm giving this business owner, this individual, this family leader, this is an opportunity I'm giving you to help you. It's your responsibility to decide whether it's right for your family or not right for you, but you're not hurting them, you're helping them.
It's a pretty good answer. Hey, Tim.
Well, it's got,
I've never
it
seen
is.
you be speechless
Yeah.
like that before.
So it's kind of like, which is great. It's kind of like, if I ordered a burger and fries, if the waitress offers me ketchup and I don't want it, she didn't go in the back and break down and say, oh God, he didn't want ketchup.
Oh, no, I
So-
try to push ketchup. And the point is, of course, you're going to offer your service. That's what you do. So if you're going to an after hours event or you're going to a chamber event, of course, you're partly there to sell your product. You are a business person. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that's the way the world works. And just one quick thought, Eric. I am a pastor, but this is not a religious course. For some of you that are not religious, this is business relating principles. Now, I'm probably, as I just did, some of my examples will come from my experience, and I will mention my faith. But if you're not a person of faith, don't feel like, oh, he's going to preach to me that's not the purpose of this. This is a business course that's designed to be comfortable for business people.
Yep. Thank you for that clarification. I really appreciate your time so much. I know everybody here got value out of it. They would give you a round of applause if they were unmuted. But thank you for being on here, and we'll follow up here in the next day or two to see how the responses are. But anything else you'd like to say before we let you get off?
that I'm excited about the opportunity. It will be a learning curve for me on a couple of levels. Obviously I have not done a straight Zoom course, so that'll be, I want to make it effective, and I'll learn as I go, but also in 2 weeks at a time. But I will be appreciating a lot of feedback from the people who get involved, helping me grow so that I can be effective for you. But my time is, of course, I do want to make a profit, but my real desire in life is to make an impact. And if I can make a positive impact on your people and your organization, that's what's going to make me get excited about getting up in the morning. So I want to help you people succeed. I want to help anybody I work with succeed. So thank you for the opportunity, and I hope you'll consider doing it. I'm looking forward to doing it. I think it'll be a great time together.
Awesome. Thanks for being on.
All right. Thank you, Eric. You guys have a great day.
Yep. Cheers.
Thank you, Brother Beckham. Thank you, everybody.